Is a trip to Joshua Tree one of the best ways to connect with your kids? When Kristen and I plan trips or excursions, we're looking for ways to find deeper connections with each of our children. That's why we decided to drive the 2.5 hours to Joshua Tree, to invite our children into adventure and to spend some quality time together.
Joshua Tree!
There aren't many hotels in the Joshua Tree area, so we went on the VRBO website and found a fun and funky house for just over $400. As we drove up to the house, we were surprised by a rainbow house just down the street. One of the best things about the house we chose is that it was just down the street from the main national park entrance. When we arrived, the kids loved our place and were so excited to pick their rooms.
Did we know that this had 3 bedrooms?
No.
I don't know if I remember that. So that's gonna be special. Are you excited?
Yes!
The house also had a beautiful backyard as well. We love when we can stay in a house because it gives us a little more space to spread out and save some money by cooking meals instead of going out to restaurants.
So we made it to the house. The kids are all super excited, and we're gonna go up into Joshua Tree National Park. But Addie only wants to hang out at the house because she has her own room for her first time. So we're gonna have to convince her because we didn't come here to just hang out at a house, but glad that it's a cool place. Once we were settled, we put our bags away and took the short 10-minute drive into the national park. We were again excited to use Brooklyn's 4th grade park pass, and they even gave them these little books that they could learn about and do activities around the park. We decided to start at one of the closest areas and headed to Quail Springs.
The kids were blown away by the huge piles of boulders that make up Joshua Tree.
Hey Brooklyn, remember I told you there were rocks to climb on?
Yeah.
Do you believe me now?
Yeah, I think it's Zeus. Maybe.
Do you believe me now?
Yeah.
They were eager to start climbing on the rocks, and to be honest, so were we.
Whoa!
And jump. Kristen's questioning whether I should jump
No.
the gap.
Well, I am. I'm questioning.
I'm also questioning,
Worthwhile.
but it might still be worth it.
No. That's what I'm questioning.
3, 2, 1. It was worth it.
We spent a good couple of hours climbing and playing on the rocks around the Joshua trees. As much as Ezekiel liked it, he had to be carried quite a bit, but the girls loved being able to explore all over.
So Brooklyn, this is your first time to Joshua Tree National Park. Tell me a little about it. What did you think?
Oh, I love it!
Addie, this was your first time to Joshua Tree National Park. What did you think about it?
It was awesome.
2 seconds later.
Super fun. I just was tired earlier.
As the sun began to set, we decided to head back to the house and do our family dinner night. We don't succeed at this every week, but on Friday nights, we try to do special family dinners together, which often includes cooking homemade pizzas.
Spread it out. What are you girls eating?
Homemade pizza.
Yeah? How is it?
Good.
What night do we usually do this on?
Friday. Friday.
Yeah. Ezekiel,
Friday.
do you like having special pizza? Saturday was our one full day to be in the park. Once we had breakfast, we got dressed and headed back into the park. We drove about an hour or so until we arrived at the Arch Rock trailhead. Brooklyn and Addie were a bit frustrated at the length of the drive, but rallied once we got there.
Brooklyn, tell me if you see a scrub oak, okay? Rockin' and rollin', down to the beach I'm strolling, but the scorpions stab our legs, not fun. I said scorpions, stop it now.
Don't care.
Ow, 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 ow.
There was actually a solar eclipse when we arrived, which you won't notice in the footage, but everything seemed a bit more dim around us, which was odd. Girls, why does it look a little dark and weird out here?
Because it's a lunar eclipse.
A lunar eclipse, Addie?
Solar.
A solar eclipse. This is not gonna work, but it's an eclipse.
I stared straight at it.
You can't really tell. We didn't bring this up, but it's a solar eclipse of the heart. All right, we drove out to Arch Rock. We're hiking on the trail to get over there. And yeah, the kids didn't love how long it took in the car, but they're excited to go on the trail. After we hiked for a while, we made it to Arch Rock. Kristen and I split up the kids and took turns climbing up to the top of it. Careful up there, okay, love? Then we spent some time exploring all the rocks in this area. Here there are more thin alleys to climb through, and there were even some small caves. We're going through a little crevasse.
Lots of places to climb around. Tiny bit panicky for a mom when you can't see or hear your kids that well, but they're loving it.
Well, this is cool.
Look at the view. That's a great view.
After we had done a bit more climbing and exploring, we hiked a little bit further to Heart Rock. Brooklyn wanted to check it out, but Addie was indifferent. All three of our kids were a bit tired as we walked back to our car. Ezekiel, in fact, was so tired that he fell asleep in my arms. These sweet moments don't happen as much anymore, so I try to treasure them as much as possible.
Once we were back in the car, we gave the kids a movie while we drove back to the house for lunch. It was nice to have a little downtime, but once we rallied again, it was time to go back into the park, and this time we were headed for Hidden Valley Nature Trail.
I personally think this may be one of my favorite areas in Joshua Tree National Park because it has a hiking trail, it's got a bunch of different rocks, and there's some gorgeous views. One of our goals was to get a family portrait while we were here. My cell phone remote for the camera wasn't working, so I thought it would be fun to show a little behind the scenes of our self-portrait. I'm honestly amazed at how well it turned out.
We walked around a bit more, took a few more photos as the sun fell behind the rocks, and then headed back to the house for dinner.
On Sunday morning, we decided to keep things a little more low-key. We had breakfast, hung out in the backyard, and then packed up. We needed to make just one more stop before we headed home. The girls had been working on their junior ranger books they had received when we first arrived at the park, and they wanted to go get their badge. We headed to the visitor center, and they had a special little ceremony for the girls. After that, we grabbed a quick souvenir and were on our way.
While this trip wasn't perfect, it was a very affordable getaway that led to many lasting adventures for us and our children. Climbing the rocks together and being adventurous led to a deeper level of connection. We honestly can't wait until the next time we can go back to Joshua Tree.
Thanks as always for watching and supporting our channel. We hope that these videos can encourage you and your family to take adventures, both small and big.
And remember to invest in
Family,
adventure, and love.
What's up, everybody?
What, buddy?